Hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast, No More Excuses. I am your host, Sandi Ballard, and have been for 223 weeks. Well, this is the 223rd week. So thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. And thanks for sharing my podcast for all of you who have shared. And if you're not sharing still, why not? But I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And it's how I have listeners and people who are connected with me all over the world, and it's really cool. And thank you again. If you're new, I am the Badass Business Coach. Why? Because I help people, especially during this crazy ass time, I help people realize their badassness so they do more, be more, and achieve more. And yeah, the last few weeks of podcasts have been a little crazy, but talking about awareness and opportunities and possibilities and all that stuff, right? Because it has been just a shit show, right? And one thing, do check out my website if you are new, badassbusiness.coach. And one thing I wrote down to talk about are my books. One of my bitches in my tribe, Tiff, she always gets after me, especially when we were at our in-person events, because I rarely talk about my books. I think I have in some of my podcasts because I've referenced some of the chapters, but they're all available on Amazon. I have 3 and started with one, From There to Here, then How Badly Do You Want It, and my third book so far, 4th one in the works. The third book is The Magic Pill. So check them out if you're bored. Print version and Kindle available on Amazon. Look for me, Sandi, with an I, Ballard. All right. This weekend, the past weekend was the July 4th Independence Weekend, Independence Day and weekend. It's a holiday here in the United States. You know, what did you do? I realize some of you had to work, others spent with family, and maybe some of you are still in solitude. And I know I was talking with a friend of mine on Friday that's in the UK, and July 4th was when they were just actually starting to open up. And so that was going to be interesting. Everyone's in different stages, right? And it's business, business, business. One of my podcasts was about let's get back to business. You know, it gets tiring talking about all this shit, but what else do we have, right? And the quarantine and the vid, the pandemic is really what's taken over our mindset, our brain space, and our business. You know, in the last, like I mentioned, last couple podcasts, we're about creating awareness, the aha moments, and then seeing the possibilities from that awareness. Being deliberate and intentional will help you focus. But if you aren't aware of what's going on in and around your life, in business and out of business, then you won't be able to see any possibilities, right? So in spite of this, yet again, crazy roller coaster ride, you have to take some sort of a step, right? Some sort of a step and try. Hell, business right now, at least they're allowed to reopen. Like I said, my friends, people in the UK, they're just starting to open. And then here, in Orange County, California, they're not. Then okay, then maybe, then bars have to close again, in restaurants with inside dining, but you can sit outside, but you can still shop at retail. I don't know, but at least I guess they're maintaining personal space and taking precautions. My daughter works in retail, and I know they've made a lot of changes with stuff. So, there's many restaurants and businesses that can stay open right now. And do takeout, like I said, outside dining. But if you live in a state that weather is an issue, rain or extreme heat, you'll be affected there as well. Because not everyone can handle a meal in 110 degrees, right? We were in Vegas. I mean, that can get damn hot, right? And the last thing you want to do is sit in the sun. So hopefully a lot of places I know I've seen around here have rented tents and things like that. So it's still uncertain and crazy. And, the staff, think about all the staff, that they were on, then off, then on, then off, then part-time, then full-time, then potentially out again. Anyone out there that has staff that you've had to talk with constantly, about that, or maybe aren't comfortable coming back to the office as you're reopening, if you're more in an office setting, You may be that person. It's just a little crazy, a little uncertain, but you have to take that step. It might be painful. And if you've ever had any sort of an injury, you know what I mean. You just got to get moving, loosen up those joints and muscles. And right now, that's the advice and what I have been talking to my clients about, that were closed during COVID and weren't sure what to do to get going again, or had a plan, but got the plan, changed by the government or the CDC, or the fact that staff wasn't comfortable coming back, all those things, and even those that were closed or were never closed, but for obvious reasons, sales were down. Take a step. Right now, that's all any of us can do. Take one step at a time and evaluate. Like the quote says, hesitation will ruin any chance of opportunities, right? So even more now than any time, I suggest to all the new business owners that I start working with, you got to check your progress weekly for at least the first 3 to 6 months, and then monthly. We all have to do this now, weekly. So this week, 2 things. Some of you may already have heard about that because you're on my email list, but the 30-day challenge. So here's the reminder. Two things. What step will you take this week? As crazy, scary, or uncertain as it seems. And the 30-day challenge. Yes, July. What will you do to challenge yourself this month? So you've got to take that step this week, and then what will you do this month? And yes, I've received some some challenges from people, and that could be, some of you have talked about monetary challenges. Okay, well, what are you going to do? Because that monetary, whatever X number of dollars you want to make a week or per month, that's great. However, that's the result. So what is it you're going to do? If you think in results, that's great. But tell me what you're going to do to challenge yourself to achieve that result. All right? Like, for example, get up 30 minutes early because, I don't know, you're still on the COVID sleep schedule. Like me, I've been backing that up a little bit. Maybe revise your website. Me, that's been on my goal list, my task list more so, since the beginning. Maybe you wanted to get to it and just can't wrap your head around it. Or maybe 30 days of no Netflix. Because again, COVID, right? I don't know. What will you do to challenge yourself personally, professionally? Because you need that result. You need to get going because this is the kickoff of the next 6 months, the last 6 months of 2020. I know we're maybe all thinking we're hoping 2021 is going to be a lot better, right? But for right now, the first 6 months of 2020 is behind us. What are you going to do? What step are you going to take? And what are you going to do to challenge yourself this month? All right, I need to hear from you. Post here in the comments section or email me, sballard@growingforward.biz. I want to hear you guys really challenge yourself, dig deep. And if you can't, please, for the love of God, message me, email me, sballard@growingforward.biz. Let's do a strategy session. For the love of God, I am not that expensive. Or find a coach that will help you because you've got to be able to take that step and kick off the next 6 months of 2020 because we have to get back to business because that's what this is all about. We got to get that motivation back. We got to get that badassness back. All right? Look forward to hearing from you. Let's kick ass this week. Cheers.